guys, Chris. I have turned off image stabilization, so it might be even clearer now, even with the kit lens. So I taught 2 students back to back today, and it just kind of made me think about my journey as a teacher. I actually told myself that I did not want to teach. New fact about Joanna that you didn't know. When I was around 14, 15, I was like, oh, I will never teach, blah, blah, blah. I can't handle teaching. Teaching is a whole nother thing. I didn't take lessons on how to teach, but of course, I ended up teaching anyway because I played a high school graduation recital when I was 17. It was just like a recital that I made up for myself. And I got thrown my first student. I was like, okay. It's kind of like if someone were to throw money in your face. Wouldn't you try? I mean, if you're only 17, right? I tried teaching and holy crap, there are so many things about teaching that no one ever told me about. This first student that I ever had came in and told me that her baby sister grabbed her flute and threw it in the sandbox, and then her mom dug it out and washed it in the kitchen sink. I think I have talked about this in a previous video before, but for those of you who are new to this channel, that is a thing that happened. I just remember like standing there looking at my student like, God, is this real? Is this real? Wake up, wake up. Yeah, no one ever told me that you actually need to sit your student down and tell them not only how to properly clean their instrument, but how not to clean their instrument. The other thing that threw me off was finding ways of teaching things that do not lend themselves to be described very easily. How do you describe tonguing? It's kind of like if you were to describe how to say the letter T. As a kid, you literally just figured it out yourself. You know, you would mimic the adults around you. You would mimic the other kids around you until you got T, ta, 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 ta. Do you even remember how you learned to make the T sound? But when you are a teacher, you are expected to know how to describe this. Do I really have to find a way to describe it? Some people do actually teach magically by showing. There's just something about how they show what they're doing that just translates really well. But for me, when I look at my students' faces and they're looking at me imploringly, wanting to know exactly how to tongue and how to form your embouchure and stuff like that, you know, you get that face like, I mean, come on, teachers. I'm always finding new ways to explain old concepts. As a teacher, you're always evolving. I found that it was really hard to remember that they don't know a lot of things that I'm doing. So when I play long tones for them, to them it just sounds magically beautiful. Like they don't know what I'm doing, but I know all this stuff about tongue placement, support, how wide my embouchure has to be, all the things. I have all of this stuff in my brain, but I take it for granted that my students know this stuff when they don't. Especially if this is a student that has followed you from the beginning. Literally all they know about the flute or the instrument that you are teaching them is coming from you. So if you did not say it, they do not know it. Straight up. Yes, there are prodigies and people who just get it, but you're on a channel right now called Just Another Flutist, okay? This channel is about the rest of us, and the rest of us don't know anything except for what our teachers taught us, and maybe some self-experimentation. Wow, that sounded really wrong. They can only hear that their tone can be better. They can only hear that their technique can be better. But do they actually know what they're doing wrong? I don't think so unless you tell them. But as a teacher, you need to go beyond pointing out what's wrong. They weren't taught how to do it right yet. When you are teaching a lesson, you are there to teach, not to judge. If you're an adjudicator, that's when you would write down the comments saying, you know, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, blah, blah, blah. Your job is to take it to the next step and teach them the right way. I know I sound like such a passionate teaching preacher, but if you really care about your students more than the money that they give you, you need to take that extra step. And this all leads to probably the biggest reason why I did not want to be a teacher, and also why I originally did not want to make tutorials on YouTube. I just hit 15,000 subscribers yesterday. Think about it for a second. Even if only a third of you guys are using my videos as your only flute education, you realize that's already 5,000 people. Everything that these people know about the flute and music is from me. Do you realize how much responsibility that is on my head? I don't want this responsibility. Let's look at it this way. I am the baby of my family. Would I really want that much responsibility? Of course not. There's a reason why I like being second flutist, okay? It's not as much responsibility as the first flutist. You're not taking care of a whole team, which I've done. I oddly liked it, but I mean, did I like the responsibility? No, of course not. Adulting is hard. Adulting is a lot of responsibility, and that's the same way you feel when you become a music teacher. You feel like, holy crap, all of these kids' education is coming from me, and if I teach them something wrong, that is on my head. I feel like if every teacher really realized that their students' education is wholly coming from them, I feel like every teacher would be a lot more careful about how they teach. I feel it. The sense of responsibility is very heavy on me. But why do I take it up? I feel called to it. I believe in you guys. I believe in the nobodies of the music world. You're on this channel for a reason. Why else would you watch a video by just another flutist? There are so many more things in my head about being a teacher, but I have already filled up this memory card and I have had to put it into my computer and then delete the footage so that I can continue filming. I believe my memory card is telling me to shut up. Let me know in the comments below if you are a teacher. How do you feel? What are some of the struggles that you go through as a teacher? What are some of the surprising, funny things that happen to you as a teacher that you never expected? Let's share stories. If you can leave it down in the comments below, I would love to read them and respond, and I would really encourage all the rest of you to respond to each other as well. I'm noticing that some of you are doing that, and I really love it when I see that, so please, let's get talking. As usual, if you guys like this video, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and hit subscribe for new videos every Saturday. My last video is over there, and if you want to catch me during the week, my social media network stuffs are down there. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Bye. How wide my... Excuse me.